After reviewing the charts after today's price action, the play seems to still be on. Let's go ahead and go over those details now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this wonderful Thursday night. This is ARCa coming at you with a GTii technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCab. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so it looks like we're actually going to make this move, particularly to volatility versus momentum. So for the new viewers, you're looking at volatility right over here, represented by this indicator BBWP. So volatility is direction neutral. We typically pair it with an indicator named stochastic momentum, which is actually proprietary to TradingView software. And actually, I'm an accepted affiliate now, so if you do wish to start an account with TradingView, it would certainly help my future in trading out. The link will be included in the description below. Okay, so yeah, what we're looking for here is for sure the pivot towards the upside, which looks very healthy, and it looks like it's still continuing. We are looking at it in the 3-day chart, so it's a bit of a larger perspective. Okay, so the moves that we're facing, the downside moves here and there that we're facing during the interim or the short term, it's not gonna really play in too much effect into what's happening here in a more of a macro scale, right? So I want to actually focus in on this trend line here. So this is actually the implied path that I actually drew from when we were right up here at the green line. So I said, we want to be able to make this type of pivot here, and alongside stochastic momentum facing this upside, we want to be able to see volatility either in the critical zone, printing these 3-day bars, since we are in the 3-day chart. So these are 3-day reads. As long as we maintain ourselves at critical volatility, meaning almost 100%, it would be usually about above 98%. So in this case, we're still in critical volatility here. This is within the 90 percentile, so it's already high enough. This was the implied target that I actually drew right back here. I think this was December 12th. Yeah, December 12th, right down there. You can actually see the dates here. Oh, actually, it was a little before that, December 7th, I believe. So, yeah, it looks like it's following it. And now if we zoom in very closely here, it looks like the volatility component, which is this spectrum line here, is actually about to make that contraction phase start, potentially. I'm not saying that this is actually something that's going to happen right away, but, if we zoom in close enough, it looks like the lines are getting very close to each other here. I know the pivot actually corrected a little bit here, implying that we can potentially go up to critical volatility, which would be amazing, but also it would be the back test was actually particular to the times that we've actually started in a contraction phase to the downside versus maintaining ourselves in the upside. But still, nonetheless, the back test is recognizing that we're in critical volatility, and that's the most important part of it all. So now if we can just go ahead and get away from volatility and momentum and just take a look at the candle structure, you can see here that we're still in a healthy path. Okay, and the highest move that we've made thus far from the implied 3,202%, 3,202% upside thrust that we actually gained by taking a momentum versus volatility test throughout the entire history of the GTii asset throughout the 3-day chart. We've actually come up with this massive upside thrust over the span of about 32.25 days. I know there's a few questions about when that date can actually be, but please remember that the date doesn't matter too much. The date is actually just an averaged duration, meaning that anything can happen within that time is pretty much telling you. Okay, so for example, this 100% move happened within 16 days. You can actually see in this little metric right down here. Okay, now in this move particularly in August 1st. Okay, now let's just go ahead and check down the line. Okay, so this one here, this 1,000% move to the upside happened over the span of about 51 days. Okay, let's just go ahead and take some more iterations. This 297% move happened over 5 days, which is more along the lines of what we've been doing. Okay, except that we're somewhere around 8 or 9 days. Now this 1,000% move is particularly the one that I wanted to show you. This 1,000% move happened over the span of just 5 days. Okay, you see this? Look at this 300 happened over 58 days. This is way over what we're in right now. So yeah, do know that there are several variances here. Look at this 39% move to the upside happened over 75 days. And this particular move here that's the most significant is actually almost 19,000% upside thrust to the upside. So you look at this, 48 days. Okay, so there's a lot of variance within the statistical back test. Okay, so please know that it's just an averaged time. Okay, so there is the possibility to where we can meet the target within this time or after it, but more than likely within it. Okay, so. Yeah, with that said, you can see a top target of about $17 to $18, $17.70 to about $18.28. Okay, so that's about where the implied or the statistical backtest upside thrust will take us to. Okay, so that's something that we do have to practice some patience with, and definitely know that it's for sure a month. But if we're taking it from the firing of the signal, you can actually see that it's about 3, 6, and we're about 17 hours and 16 minutes to closing the next 3-day candle. So we're potentially at about 8 days. Okay, so thus far. So let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart and see what we have. So yes, this is the chart where we noticed that little tiny gap that we actually came back yesterday and filled, right? So we did say that we could likely find a bounce here or continue on to the upside based on yesterday's analysis. Sorry, we covered it on the day before yesterday, but nonetheless, yeah, we are still in a very bullish stance, and the reason why I can say that is after a downtrend, when we start printing these bullish hammers in a downtrend, it usually signals a potential continuation to the upside. And as you can see here, we are facing a pretty significant resistance, and that is at the 0.618 at about $1.52. It's all good. We still have to combat several things in order for us to continue that upside thrust. Okay, a good thing that we should note though is that particularly to the Crypstex, the ARC-Series indicators, I'm going to just go ahead and remove the SMAs. The DBSI, which is actually an indicator that takes a statistical variable of every single candle printed in the asset's particular time frame. Okay, so in this case, we're in the daily chart. So you can actually just zoom out and you can see that DBSI has taken a metric of every single candle printed red or green, and that gives us a value, okay, a strength value that's represented right up here as a percentage value. So you can see that on the 1-day chart, bulls are leading the way with 81% over the bears at 19%. Okay, so we're still looking pretty good. And now let's just go ahead and take a look at our next chart, okay, because yes, we do have some relevant supports down here. That's all good, but I don't think we can come down here just yet, okay? But sometimes we can speak a little too early, just like we did when we were in this one here, and we came back and literally tested that support that I literally deleted that night. Okay, you guys, so nonetheless, let's just keep our emotions on check and make sure to take profits when they are there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and look at the next chart. This is that silly formation that I hate. I really do hate calling this out because they often don't play out, but in this case, we are meeting the volume profile. You are getting an uptick in buy volume. You can see it actually right here. You can see it coming in. It's all good. It's looking like we may actually realize this cup and handle for the first time in like a whole year. But no, I'm just kidding. Actually, the last cup and handle that I called out was actually the BBBY 141% move to the upside, but it was also backed by a statistical backtest, and this was literally early this year. And actually, that's where a lot of followers started coming in because they were noticing that I was looking at things in a different way. Okay, so this is another one of those types of call outs, right? So now let's just go ahead and see what that thrust would be from the top of the candle, right? So you're looking at a 348% move to the upside based on the projected target from the cup itself, or the objective, right? So yeah, we can call it a price objective. So you can take that price objective idea from drawing a trend line from the top of the cup to the very bottom of the cup, and you would then apply it to the top of the handle, and that would give you the idea as to where we can land based on the trading, based on the playbook rules of how to trade a cup and handle. Okay, to be very specific. All right, so yeah, so we're still looking okay. It looks like we're making that handle now. pardon me, just don't doubt the fact that we can actually come back down to these levels and test that $1.30 zone, $1.29. It's okay. It's still, there's still plenty relevant supports along that way. Okay, for example, here we can actually see that the SMA 10 is landing right about 135, just like we said. Okay, so now let's see. Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and just now move on to the next chart, because this is everything is looking pretty good thus far. Okay, you guys. So let's see. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in picking up any of these indicators that are actually part of the the Crypstex series, okay, so this is an ARC series Crypstex indicators that usually give us buy and sell signals. Okay, so you can see that we have a buy signal from DBSI still continuing on to the upside. Okay, we can actually load up one more and see if we have a buy signal there. Yep, look at that. We have that buy signal printed on the daily chart on ARC which is an indicator comprised of several exponential moving averages, and these averages are able to give us a directional wave. So those directional waves are then able to give us buy and sell signals. Okay, so you can see the long, we went up, short, we came down, long, we went up, and so on and so on. You get the idea. Okay, you guys. So what, particularly to the armor, actually, now that I'm noticing, I can actually give you a little bit of I'm talking about even more hopium, other than the fact that we already have it. But as you can see here, let me get rid of the 13-day moving average, which belongs to DBSI. You can see here that we're now starting to print the green moving averages. Okay, so we definitely have to balance this out to create this type of curvature only inversely. Okay, like this area here. All right, so it looks like it may be starting right over here, which is a very good sign. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just move on to the last part of the chart. Oh, actually, one more thing within this chart. We never actually touched this chart. This is the 5-day chart. Okay, so now what I was telling you about this 5-day chart in particular, even including the 3-day and all that good stuff, but particularly to the 5-day chart. Okay, we are actually confirming the validation of a continuation to the upside based on the reversal candle. Okay, so the reversal candle being the first one, and that first one is located right down here, which was the one that we started earlier this month. Okay, so now I did mention in several, I'm not sure actually when I did mention it. It may have been a couple videos ago, but I did say that this candle would be the validation candle for a continuation to the upside after printing the reversal candle down here. Okay, so this candle looks, I think we are already closed. Right now the markets are closed, so it's not giving me the clock time here, but I believe we closed this 5-day candle today. So this 5-day candle is absolutely a validator for a continuation to the upside. So this is looking very good. Okay, so the reversal may actually still be in play. Very, very good news. Okay, so now let's look at the divergence chart, because this is actually something that's very important for us to look at. Okay, so divergences are the opposition of price action versus momentum, and momentum in this case represented by relative strength index. It's the RSI indicator. My cursor is over. Okay, so in this case, we did notice in yesterday's analysis, or the day before yesterday, that we did print on these white trend lines here. We printed some drives of hidden bearish divergence. Okay, so those drives of hidden bearish divergence have played out, and upon the closure of today's, I'm sorry, actually yesterday's 12-hour candle, we actually did print 4 drives of phantom regular bullish divergence. Okay, so that's very, very good. So that usually happens when we actually printed 2 drives of phantom regular bullish divergence and 2 drives of a phantom hidden bullish divergence. So this is all accumulating towards favoring the bulls. Okay, so this is looking very good. And now, so that it doesn't get so busy, we can actually start removing some of these divergent drives so that we can actually start making some more space in the chart. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to go ahead and correct everything that's happening thus far, because it's going to take too much time, but I just want to take you on that process so that you can see how I move. Okay, so every single day marks a new pivot, marks a new higher high or higher low. Okay, so we have to take into account those things when we're swing trading as what we're doing right now. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just open up the last part of this analysis, which is actually going to be a multi-pane. Okay, so that we can see just how we're doing in the immediate short term and the medium term. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the 30-minute chart and just take a look at what we have here. Okay, so now for the new viewers, I do have the diagram for the RSI properties listed right over here for you to kind of hone in. Okay, so I'm sorry, I want you to hone in on these four zones here, as I will be speaking of them often, okay, including the oversold percentile and the overbought percentile. Okay, so in this particular case, we're going to be talking about the immediate short-term 30-minute time frame. Okay, we are making a bullish cross above the moving average. Okay, that's very good, but please know that as long as we do maintain within the shallow areas of either zones, meaning the bear weakness percentile or the bull weakness percentile or the bear weakness percentile, we are likely to face sideways trading. Okay, so you can see here very clearly that we touched down to this about 46% zone down here, and we actually got gravitated right back into the bull weakness percentile, but also know that we're still in the shallow area of the bull weakness, so we can likely be gravitated right back in. Okay, the good thing here is that the moving average is now below us, so if there is a chance that we can use this as a form of support, the 14-day moving average being the pink line and the RSI being the purple line, okay, the RSI signal. Okay, so if the signal is going to use the 14-day moving average, it actually may survive that, okay, but do know that there is a gravitational pull right in these shallow areas. Now, let's go ahead and look at the bi-hourly time frame and take a look at what we have here, okay, so yeah, so this is doing that sideways trading that I'm telling you about, okay, so I'm talking about, let's see, yeah, this is about now 2 days completion of just some sideways trading, as long as we do maintain ourselves within the shallow areas of either zones. Actually, in this case, it would be the deep areas of the bull weakness percentile and the very shallow areas of the bull strength percentile. You can see that we're literally being gravitated back and forth. We need to be able to break out of that gravitational pull in order for us to continue an upside. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of a hint here by the bi-hourly 14-day moving average suggesting a slight downside, okay, which is actually in accordance to what I'm talking about, potentially testing that 130, the 129 to 135 level. Okay, so the 130 to, I'm sorry, the 129 to 135 level actually lands, I forgot where we were actually looking at it, but there are several areas that we can look at. So I think it was in the cup and handle chart. Yeah, it's actually right here. So it's located right at the SMA 10, which can be at about 135. Look at this. We have confluence at the two spot 272 at about $1.37. So that gives us an overall support range. You can take a note of this, okay? Just in case we do face some type of capitulation, okay? Please know that we do have support between the 129 and the 2 spot 72 at 137. Okay, so I'm going to draw this little box here for future use, and just so we can see how we can move along. Okay, so now let's move on to the 6-hour chart. The 6-hour chart now is still doing a little bit of that sideways trading. We're being gravitated back and forth. Do know that we actually have the moving average above us, which is actually a little bit bearish. Okay, but the upside pivot is looking not bad. But if we are going to face that resistance, it may very well happen at that moving average. And in tomorrow's session, we can come back to that 135 zone or 130, and then continue on to the upside. Okay, the moving average is still suggesting upside nonetheless. Okay, very good, very good stuff. Now let's look at the daily chart, since we already saw the 12-hour. So the daily is actually right smack in the middle of the RSI, suggesting a slight upside, but please know, as long as we do maintain in that shallow area, you know what the story is. Okay, so let's look at the buy daily. Buy daily suggesting some downside. It's still favoring the bulls though, since we are in the upper area of the bear weakness percentile. Okay, 3-day, let's see what it's got. 3-day is actually making a bullish cross right now, so this is actually looking not bad. It's making a bullish cross above the moving average, and it's now a little bit above halfway the halfway between the bear weakness percentile. Okay, so the closer we get to that upper side of that bear weakness percentile, we can actually look at the probabilities of landing in that gravitational pull, thus pushing us right back in, or pulling us right back into that prior zone, which is the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so things are looking good nonetheless. Look at this 5-day still suggesting upside. Moving average looks like it's actually starting to correct. Let's zoom into it. Yeah, it's looking like the pivot is changing towards the upside. Hey, you guys, things are looking pretty good for GTii. I still look at some upside coming in. 15-minute time frame. Immediate short-term stuff I don't usually look at, okay? But if we're going to face some type of little tiny pullback in the immediate short-term, I'm talking about micro time frame, 5-minute, it may be in the early in the early session, my apologies, as it does open GTii trades during regular market hours. But anyway, you guys, that's it for the video. Yeah, please know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, okay, as I can't suggest for you to buy or sell any assets. Okay, you guys, I need you to do your own DD and everything will be just fine. If you need to reach out to me, I'll leave the links in the description below for you to consider joining the ARCa trading community in Discord, or visiting me on Twitter and say hi there. Okay, so with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.